learn through the things I willingly share with you. Not through some game through which you will have stolen a secret that I hid under my tongue.
It can mean many things, Doctor. Are you referring to the title of the magazine? Or the parts of the brain? Or the stuff? You pause, realizing what you just said. It takes him a moment to respond, coming to understand it. You hid your secrets under your tongue, he says sadly. You eye narrow in confusion and dilation, a strange anxiety overtaking you. Did he just insult you? No. More like himself. Why did he do that? So. He stops, struggling to turn his words into a question. So, what's it about?
Face gets darker. Not wanting to make this such a moment. Again, Doctor. What is and say with each word gaining an additional. Again, Doctor. What?
Your face gets darker, not wanting to make this a teaching moment. He stares deep into your eyes, you rather stare away. Though the wind makes your eyes water, you refuse to blink through it. With a sigh, he draws in close to you and whispers, only to you.
Alright, let's see. Let's see how still haven't taken the drug.
Alright, let's go over the project again.
Okay.
He spends most of the day emptily giving you some key aspects to today's experiment. He explains that everyone is intrigued about whether bureaucratic superheroes are actually needed in this day and age, or are they all just tools of the rich to keep the populace in line.
You wave your hand against in front of him. Yes. What does this have to do with AI Dungeon's new drug they want me to take?
You wave your hand in front of his face. What does this have to do with AI Dungeon's new drug they want me to take? You scream. He jumps, not having noticed you were listening, and reminds you once more of the effects of the drug Pseudo-Leland 11. So be it. You wave your hand again, this time in a circular motion, indicating to the warden that you want him to remind you every few hours about today's experiment. Whenever you're ready then, he says with contrived enthusiasm,
Pseudolidink 11. Come on.
Pseudolidink 11, quantitative summary.
Oops.
Given in 200, 400, 800 and 1600 milligrams quantities injected IV into random volunteers. Quantitative structure-activity relationship curves were on, and a bell-shaped curve resulted. Bell-shaped curves are the ideal in quantitating the affinity of two interacting chemicals. Phasing out the Torvalds, the population in the testing is small. There are 57 left out of a once great 6,300, but that is not nearly as tragic as what became of them.
Alright, so quantitative. That might be it. Okay. And let's redo it.
For today's experiment, we are giving you 500 milligrams of pseudolidink 11. This is the first of our experiments. The first will definitely be safest, well, sort of safe at least. Just lie back and make yourself comfortable and we'll take it from there. Note, Dr. Depew does not interact with you during the experiment other than to periodically remind you what a good job you're doing.
Alright. Oh no!
Just as planned, over the course of 200 experiments to test their theory, theologians noticed a sort of bell curve in the effects of lysergic acid diethylamide. The clown painting became less frightening and more clown-like, before it began taking on haunting qualities. With this theory of the order of hallucinations in mind, AI was not disappointed with the order of what he found within the data he had gathered from test subjects on pseudolidink 11.
Well, at least this constitutes the fast forward.
By their thousands they had taken the drug in controlled situations, and although they all saw different things, there definitely seemed to be an internal logic to not only what tripped to subjects in a hallucinatory indicator, but also the order they appeared. What could this sequence mean?
The sequence.
The sequence Cube of the Seal, a white-on-white graphic novel depicting actions by an all-powerful being watching over humans, yet obviously not involved with their world in any way. At one moment in time it captures the graphics for a panel, then it has been forgotten by the subjects clicking through them at 1 Hertz for less than a day later to find that they have reverted to another unknown creative mind for panel representation.
It's a weird sequence. Wait on white graphic.
The sky does not stop. There are no birds. However, there is an upside-down spire piercing through what looks to be a guillotine's chopping board made of clouds. These clouds are in the shape of a plus sign. The first payload, a woman's voice. Only emotions can be audible. This is a grotesque, dead-looking and yet still living creature that seems to be suffering from consumption.
That sounds like me in 2007.
It has a dozen long, thin and strangely resilient tentacle-like limbs which drag its emaciated body slowly over to the viewer as it lets out a tormented scream. There is a wide range of sound that she can create and it's painful to listen to.
The album.
The album, Atter's Gradation, images and music are too early. IT also makes the track album in anticipation of this very last one. The Agent, a bland-looking rectangular building with two wings branching out of the sides. Grass grows at its base, blanketing it.
It's at the base, but it blankets. In denouement.
It looks out of place, misplaced in its environment. This is the illusion of infinity and it shall melt away before the audience's eyes. The book, the world never ending, the endless dream, the final experience, as the audience makes the great leap forward.
But this being science, subjects were given a second dose. And since the sequence had been recorded with great detail, researchers were excited to have a method by which to measure changes of experience in a artistically qualitative level.
But this being science, subjects were given a second dose. And since the sequence had been recorded with great detail, the 6 voyagers were split into 4 pairs, each assigned a new sequence of chemicals to take during tests repeated over the course of the next year. Each took place in a room resembling a typical hospital room containing a bed, sink, toilet, and one dim nightlight bulb in the center of the ceiling.
That veers away from the experiment itself. We need pseudoliquid 11.
Of course, there is a little bit more, but it's best if we present the results in the order which they were given to us. Hopefully this means something.
I'm sure we'll project what we need.
The key to the Callisto, friends, Romans or countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to drown land of bliss in noise and war. Visceral, explosive, rough, grandiose or plainer, here every artist is thy fair judge compare. With all the tools of hell and dreams in hand, we'll build a world out of volcanoes poured.
Interesting.
Eternal love that burns beyond the stars, in search of know thyself we slip aboard the ship. We will not play upon your fears or trample on that fragile sense of worth that you still have left. You are not here to shine, but to achieve enlightenment. We come to free you from a life of mediocrity.
I want to see if this has a equivalent. No, it has to be. Oh. Nothing so far. What about?
Confusion is the movement that is doing my head. Am I insane? It's been so long, the time is stalled, and I'm in your head.
No, well, politics needs from Shakespeare. No, so it's not a pre-existing thing. Okay, let's see where this goes.
And we will force you to be free in our presence. We offer you an army of professors and a navy of graduates, arrest the agent, count, of used junk that makes up creation's blazing suns. With them we burn all ivory towers down to the ground. The Atari Theatre notes on an image this is a typically decaying establishment in its area.
I love it when we have the AI dungeon just going. Built a momentum.
Everything from its neon sign to the marquee is a mess of uncollected garbage and dust. I read that a sleek new version of this theatre was built in another part of this city, but it closed after a few months and is currently used for adult films. It must be owned by different people.
Maybe. Click. To the Atari Theater.
Quick! To the Atari Theatre. The young man says in a loud, perfectly pitchy voice. He is my age, 18, but that's where the resemblance ends. The actor, the musician of sound, must cope with dating a girl 9 years younger than him. His name is J. A. DeLong and he's a very good friend of mine for as far back as I can recall, on or off the big screen. But is it him?
There's no way to know but ask. So you ask him.
There's no way to know but ask, so you ask him. I'm not Joachim de Long, he replies calmly, then turning his attention back to the screen. Do you think we can win this particular battle against entropy? You pay the $2 entrance fee and enter through the theatrical's turnstile, which squeals creakily as it rotates. Inside, you're given a choice of chairs or sofas. To your left there is a concessions stand that has been shut down for good.
Sneaking into the stand, you still find some fresh scones and some rooibos tea, and you set up a sizable table of treats for the patrons. Because you're high.
Sneaking into the stand, you still find some fresh scones and some rooibos tea, and you set up a sizable table of treats for the patrons.
I like how the English
DeLong is munching on
guy.
a scone and pouring himself a mug as you join him. How is he here? Your companion asks himself, before stating the obvious, you must have called for him. The two heavy ply doors from the foyer bang open, and in walks a short-haired woman in jeans and a leather jacket. She pays no interest to you or to Joachim de Long and looks around.
Can I help you? You ask.
Can I help you? You ask. The woman says nothing, but instead pulls out a pig's eye with a tallow dip nailed to the center of it. She is handed 4 dossiers and some notes and carries on through the left plywood door. You didn't invite her here, J.A. declares dismissively, please. If only he knew.
She's handed let's just see where this comes.
The door closes behind her. Okay, Joachim de Long states, are you ready to begin? If you are not familiar with the games we're going to engage in, think of them as strange versions of the children's hide and seek. Light as a feather, stiff as a board and dance knees and elbows. Behind the heavy red curtain, plastic ninjas climb out of paint cans with rattling wrappers.
You ask them all. What about Swallow the Swan? You'll ever play that?
You ask them all, what about Swallow the Swan? You all ever play that? With a squeaky swish, all heads shake frantically in agreement.
I can't help but read that as a mixed signal.
I can't help but read that as a mixed signal, you say. Silence. You've arrived at a very dark place, my friends. We're exchanging information about everyone we know, and whoever's left at the end is the winner. You ready to begin? Look before you leap. They are all gaped in awe as they see a swarm of wild geese muster up from the stream. A mongrel drags a mangled duck into the garden on its leash. The left turn off to dance, J. A. Waves a baker's dozen proofs of heaven before them. They all arrive in the passage with you, after joining the holy host standing at a right angle to you, behind you, before you, on top of you and stretching to infinity in each direction. The newest convert is drowning in the baptismal font and everyone is laying hands on him. You get J. A's attention and tap your wrist.
What does that mean?
She says to you, yes, but shakes her head no. It's a struggle to push your way past the eternally protesting bees. An angel holds up a transit card, you pop it into your mouth like a communion wafer and J. A. Indicates that you are to wait and you will be given all the instructions. There's a dim glow in the distance, impossible to fix your eyes on, and you seem drawn towards it. What's this made of? The garbage? You've got Theo Crowder by his Angora sleeve. He walks right through a sculpture's standish sprite and no one else even seems to notice. Someone is lighting back entries aflame, you draw a crucifix in the air to put it out. Well met, Father, Theo Slobbers, I was just about to look for you. He points your attention to a cleft in the rocks and you prepare your dash. Come on then. You cuff C's wrist to find his pulse. It's feeble. He mispronounces a 5-syllable word and shrugs it off. You lay your amulet across his brow in blessing. He begins to recover, snoring drunkenly and tugging at your stole. Who are you? He croaks without opening his eyes. You're nodding in appreciation of Theo's switchblade. It snaps into its catch with absolute precision.
You're doing just fine in a dungeon. Or maybe I'm lazy.
Folded, the knife is the size of your palm and despite the use you are putting it to, you're careful not to demean or damage its finish. How many have you taken off with that? You ask. Crouching out of sight of the patrolman, you wind up and take a backhand swing at B's air.
What?
It's a beautiful piece of connecting. He manages only to bat your arm aside and leaves himself off guard for a killing stroke to his throat, but Theo declines, hiding the blade again. C clutches his double-crossed ribs and coughs liquid. He's buying us some time, Theo whispers, knock him out. You draw back your fist. With one gloved hand, Theo seizes your ruff and motions you down.